misfits, a one and all to tonight's episode of Skeptic and Ranting. She died and saw what happens to LGBTQ members in hell.
Sounds like a threat.
It could have went anywhere, but of course, no, it's got to be the scary place.
What's down there for him? Like endless orgies? I mean,
see, you would think it'd be endless frappuccinos, endless orgies.
Yeah.
It never is, James. It never is.
No. Oh, well.
Which, once again, so much for Starbucks' Wednesday orgies. So much fun. Yes, where we are watching a video from the channel Endtime Visions. A lot of drinking going on in those visions. No. Where we are watching a video, and I did. James, I will say, this is the actual title, and when I put it into the spell checker, and I agree, this shouldn't be the way it's written. Nonetheless, we are watching She Died in Saw, the movie. What happens to LGBTQ members in hell? Near-death experience, NDE. That's what I like. Short titles.
Saw. Yeah. Saw 16.
Yes. Because I don't know what She Died in Saw. What happens means unless you are indeed talking about
a horror movie.
Yeah, a little horror movie, and now you're gonna pay for something that you didn't understand about your life. Anyway, thanks, Jigsaw. Won't you join James W. and myself, Amy Newman, for a gay old time in hell?
Can I actually get a double goat's milk in that latte? Or is it goat soy milk? Do they have that? Like a version of soy milk that tastes like goat's milk?
It is goat soy milk. However, it is a satanic goat. So as long as you're okay with that, we are...
You saying you milk Baphomet?
Hail Satan. Yes.
Baphomet is milkable? He's got nipples, I guess.
I was going to say you beat me to it. I don't know if you know this, but...
You can milk anything with nipples.
That makes you wonder, though, does God have nipples? Because if so, God would
Who is that who asked Donnie on here one time about nipples? And was that Peter? Who was that who came on and asked Donnie, stating for truth, why men have nipples?
I think it was me.
Maybe that was you. And he's like, well, to be honest with you, if I could come up with a good answer for that, I would, but I can't right now, so I'll get back to you.
It's James. It's one of the great mysteries of, I guess, people who don't accept evolution.
Well, then, like, the next day on their channel, like, they were, like, talking about it, and they're like, oh, well, I mean, it's for maybe aesthetic purposes. It just looks better. Just imagine that scene from Terminator 2 where Arnold is like naked there, standing there with his chest, his pecs out. Just imagine how much worse, how it would have looked stupid if it didn't have those nipples
weird if there weren't nipples.
Right, yeah, it would look stupid if he didn't have them.
But that also implies just a lot of silly things. That God's just sitting there and going like, that'd be a little weird. Wouldn't that be? Can't we all just agree? Like, turn it around to the angels. It'd just be a little weird if they didn't have nipples.
Very.
Super. Yes, thank you for joining us out there on the intertubes. I don't know how Al Gore does it, but if you are feeling fancy, please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe. We said it, YouTube. We said it. It was just once, but anyway.
There she
Don't
goes,
forget to
worshiping Al Gore's rhythm.
It is true that the Air Force, I'm pretty sure even Al Gore did have a hand in it.
DARPA.
Yeah. I mean, things are weird. It takes big projects from the government, and then they hand it over to the private sector, and then they innovate with it. And it goes back and forth. It's this lovely thing. I like teaching about the internet and the World Wide Web, because the same guy who made the World Wide Web created HTML, which is the fantastic language that we all go around and surf on.
That's how like private corporations take government money, government grants to develop something, and then they turn it back and sell it to us.
I mean, even what's it called? The number one person who is taking grants is taking projects right now from the government is Elon.
Oh yeah,
for better or for worse. But I do want us to at least continue out there.
I gotta say, I didn't think that was pretty. Like, what was that? 2011, 12, when they're like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to launch our own rockets anymore. We're going to get that from." They took a few rides from Russia. Russian rockets took them up, and then it's all been private.
Yeah, well, and that's I'll just spill the same thing that I hear from Neil deGrasse Tyson, which is when it takes a bunch of basically burnable money because you have to explore new ground. Maybe actually going to Mars the first time will probably be a government project. But then once you do the big thing and it wastes a bunch of money, you have to figure out how to not do that. You have to figure out how to do it more effectively, and then maybe even try and make it open to the public. And that's what the private sector. I'll continue to be a mixed person, and that's also Neil's.
You too can own a piece of the face on Mars.
Well, might take a little while to terraform. I saw news lately that said that there were carbon dioxide keeping a lot of the liquid methane rivers running on Mars for billions of years after liquid.
I haven't heard about liquid methane on Mars. I've heard about it on Jupiter and Saturn's moons, but I didn't hear about
I would have to pull up the exact article, but there were actually rivers flowing on Mars billions of years ago.
Of methane?
There
was water flowing on Mars.
But if it was, I'd have to look up the exact.
I don't
know. I will look it up while we're talking to people, because I want to get the specific article because I thought it was interesting. But nonetheless, I hope that we go out there one day. Same with Europa. The Europa is even further away. We might have to conquer the inner solar system first before we think about.
Not a person, but certainly like a probe. You're familiar with those, I assume.
Thursdays, you have Taco Tuesday, of course, but then you want to open it up for the rest of the week. We are, however, talking about She Died and saw what happens to LGBTQ members in hell. And James, let's make predictions. She saw Happy Fun Times. I don't know. I'm not
Arts and Crafts Center.
Yeah. Oh, Arts and Crafts is good. That's a good one.
Maybe like a movie theater watching, all the latest hits.
I want to go out and live. Maybe snow cones.
Oh, an ice cream shop. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, an whole ice cream shop.
I mean, it melts pretty quick, but it's still good.
Exactly. But it's about the experience along the way.
Roasting marshmallows over the Lake of the Damned.
once again, that's where Gilbert is.
Hey,
He loves ice
Gilbert. Gilbert, could you come over a little? I need to use your flames to cook my marshmallows here. Fuck you! Fuck you!
Yeah, basically.
I'm burning.
I'm burning, and you want me to. I don't know why I'm doing a New Jersey or New York accent. I don't think I can. Also, sending so much love to everyone out there. Oh, if you hit the like button and the bell icon, all that, we get to send love to everyone. And I'm so sorry to everyone we haven't been sending love out to. Left-Handed Jedi, and Gregory, and Davegar, and Sinister Porpoise. And I'm gonna, excuse me for that, I'm gonna cough. Oxygen, and Victoria,
Hey, Victoria.
Emperor, and everyone, yes.
So on like a serious note, we know from the Bible that hell is the absence of God, Amy, because God cannot dwell with sin, and these people, by being LGBTQ, they are sinners against God, and it would actually be worse for them to be in heaven, Amy, because they would have to be in God's presence, and that would be so horrible for them that it's actually a blessing. It's actually an act of mercy that he keeps them in hell. So we don't know all that much about the nature. It's uncomfortable. That there's a lot of pain, but we know that God is not there because he can. Exactly. Hell is where God is not. So God cannot be in hell.
But you have to remember, James, God is everywhere, but he's not
Except
in hell.
Hell.
Exactly.
Hell.
Exactly. There's like a really big
proviso. Only he's not in hell. And that's actually, Amy, the worst torment of them all. Worse than the fire and the screaming and the stench and all those terrible things about the place. But the absence of God is by far the worst terror that they face. Knowing that they'll never be in his presence, they will never get to embrace him.
Which I would also like to point out, this is the warm, cuddly version that they try and sell us of hell. This is like the liberal version of hell. Because the other version, we know the classic Dante's Inferno version. I say classic because it was, created in the middle of Christianity. Nonetheless.
1600s.
Yeah. But that's the burning and the torture and the screaming and all that. But if you want to take like the gentler kind of hell, it's like you're over here and God's over here. And it just really sucks. And why, James? Well, as you've been explaining, because you're over here and God's over here.
And believe me, like I guess the worst thing of it all is that it's eternity. They have no hope. Like they would all they would all want their suffering to be magnified infinitely worse if it gave them just a shred of hope of getting out. But there is no hope. There is.
And what is getting out? When you're over here with God. Thank you, Creator. We can continue to worship you because you made us. Because that's a healthy relationship. As you know, we create
take
something.
A seat right next to Pat Robertson and
But see, the way that they sell it is always like the very simplified, just black and white. Don't you like bad guys being punished? There you go, James. Right. Bad guys are punished. Good guys are over here, and let's not go into what we're doing, because then that we'd have to get into logistics. But let's just imagine we're singing. Yeah. Who doesn't love singing? And so,
only if you're singing praises to the Lord. That's the Lord. Really only you're singing to the Lord. You're not this secular music where it's about the worship of self and ego and horrible.
Yes, it's got to be evangelical music.
Yeah.
But also sending love to Mommy and Georgie and KCA, and Pragmatic, and Evil Toe, Udif, Brian. All right, if I missed you, then I still love you. Just keep on saying hi, and we'll keep on saying hi. But, yeah, James, can I just tell you the kicker? The
Tell
kicker
me.
to me, and I will continue to say this, is just my thing against demons. Because demons really does imply that, James, it's not you and I that do bad things, all right? No. Do you understand? It's actually this other dude. And they don't like it when we try to apparently use like dude. It's not a dude. It's a very supernatural force agent. Okay, but like it's like kind of like a magical dude is like emitting this force, having some sort of power or spell, and from this, they're the ones that are actually making us do evil deeds, James. It's not actually that you want to, you and I suddenly want to cheat on someone or steal something or do something. It's Satan. I'm sorry.
Well,
that's 50% softer. Satan. Mm-hmm.
Well, but Amy, well, like for instance, when there was a time when you got caught up a little bit with a sting a few years ago, a minor little thing, and
like a needle.
Yeah, they didn't make you do what you were doing. They just gave you an opportunity to do it while they were recording you.
Yes, exactly.
It's not like you were just walking down the street and they said, "Hey, would you like to?" And you're like, "Well, I've never done that before, but it sounds pretty fun. Let's go do it."
Listen, I feel like our services came at least a 4 out of 5, star price.
Good Yelp reviews.
I would say, listen, we may not be for everyone, but for our niche, I feel like we scratched it. That is, if your hands were free from the cuffs. You know what I mean? La la la. Oh, right. Anyway, who are we talking about?
Satan.
Oh, right, Satan. Near-death experience. Can I also, the thing with near-death, no, I didn't. I guess, do you have any thoughts about any other thoughts? I guess on just magical people. Well, I guess that's the other thing. It's just not only magical people, because that's a get out of, like, being a shitty person free card. Like, it doesn't matter if Satan is making it on us or other people. Like, Satan doesn't make you gay. And then it doesn't make you, and I love how they include gay as with all these other bad things, as if being gay. But it doesn't make you cheat on a spouse. It doesn't make you cheat on a test. It doesn't make you
steal,
lie, any murder, grape. There are no bad things out there that a magical person is making the person do. You should not try to push that blame on there, and we should not try to push that blame for bad things that people do. Once again, being gay isn't one of those things, but this is one of the fun things about religion, is they like to try and include it in there because culturally they want it to be seen as bad.
Because they thought it was icky 5,000 years ago.
Icky. Yes. So the great thing is we get a type of subjective morality, and it is subjective. I will continue to call this out, that it is a version of subjective morality that they call objective, and it's from, as you say, especially with Judaism, they're counting their calendar from 5,000 years ago. Oh, joys, we get that version of morality, and we get to say that it's unchanging. Oh, boy.
Because they're not telling you why it's objective. They're just saying he has the power to send you to hell if you don't agree with him. That they think that makes it objective, yes, because he's got the big stick in his hand. He'll beat the shit out of you if you don't agree with him.
Or my favorite, defining it into existence. Well, it's objective because I said it was objective. Oh, well, I didn't know you said it was objective. That's a great It's in the definition. That's the only God that can exist. Oh, really? Well, what about those gods that threw like thunderbolts and lightning bolts at the floor?
Those gods aren't real. Those are stupid.
Yes. James,
Come on,
those are
stupid
little
gods.
G gods. You know
Stupid
what about
gods.
little G gods? They can't even lift. And
those gods do human things, like they get married, they have kids, they do all these things. But our God doesn't do anything like that. He's God.
They get jealous.
He's not concerned with human priorities like that.
Yes, except he cares about who you sleep with, apparently. And once again, it's not like he made up the rules. He's just, oh no, wait, he did make up the rules.
Well, he took his nature, whatever his nature happened to be, he defined that as holy and moral, and then he imposed that on everybody else. But did he give everybody else his same nature so that we would intrinsically understand and only want to do what he thinks is good? No, well, no, he gave you a different nature so you can disagree with him, but you better not act on it. You better not choose to disagree with him, even though you can, but don't do it. It wouldn't look nice on my highway.
Exactly. And James, it's not being gay, okay? It's just acting on those feelings, okay?
Because true. Like they'll say, like, you might not be able to help your desires and the love that you might share with somebody that is of the same sex, but you can't do anything about it because God says no.
Exactly. It's once you're actually having a loving, committed relationship with someone of the same sex, then you know you're going to hell.
It's, so next time you hear the song, I kissed the girl and I liked it, and Jesus was pissed the fuck off.
So
he was pissed the fuck off.
That's all I could think about while watching this. It's like, I kissed a girl and I went to hell. Oh, well, that song wasn't going where I was. Okay. Whatever. Remix it, girl. Oh, my God.
That is, though, the vibe of this, like, this little relationship that they have. It just seems like, well, they'll hear it, but it just seems like a girl who just had a best friend and things went up further than that, and then all of a sudden, boom, no, you go to hell.
And something bad happens, and then because something bad happens, that means God disapproved on you having a happy life, apparently.
Listen, this world, this life is not about you. All your goals, your priorities, everything you think of, it's all worthless, Amy. It's all to clutter your mind, to get in the way of you doing what you're actually created to do, what's your purpose of existence, which is to praise God, to worship him, to glorify him.
Oh, James, I got one extra meaning of life in there. Oh, very specific for women out there. I hope you're all ready if you haven't had a job. Are you ready out there? It starts with this sound. Bum, 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 bum. That's the sound of pushing out one after another babies. Bum, 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 bum. So if you have that type of sex in mind, and only that type of sex in mind, all right? You're there to make a baby. No pleasure. You shouldn't even be looking at each other in the eyes, all right? All right? That's you look here for God.
Well, they would say if there's like ancillary pleasure from it, then that's fine, but it shouldn't be the purpose. It shouldn't be the goal of the act.
Look, if it just happens to feel good,
it's collateral damage.
There's such sadomasochists. I swear. You won't appreciate the Rick and Morty reference, but there's like these beings that all they do is they try and wreak havoc, but it's because when they have like terrible things happening, they get pleasure. And just, oh, it hurts and it feels bad. And that's
Well,
good.
like that.
That's how I imagine them.
The old-fashioned Christian thinking was, particularly in Catholicism with purgatory, is like, even if you're saved, even if you have salvation going to heaven, you still have to go to purgatory and suffer for your sins after you die. Right. But suffering here actually alleviates suffering in purgatory, right? So that's why like Mother Teresa was known for being very stingy with pain medication in her clinic. She really hated to give it out to anybody, because the pain that they were suffering now would help them in purgatory. It would mean they would be there much shorter. So that's why, looking at like the 7 deadly sins, and it was considered sinful, like to enjoy a meal, to like have pleasure from eating a good meal, that maybe take more pleasure in that than you do in worshiping God. So the monks and the priests, a lot of times back in the day, they would take things that they, like, if they were going to eat at somebody's house that wasn't at the convent, where they had very basic blah meals, just very sustaining but not tasteful meals. They would go to other people's houses. They brought stuff that they could put in the food that would make it taste bad, so they wouldn't enjoy eating, a nice rich meal that you might get at somebody else's place.
They really are these.
Right.
Taste
yeah.
bad.
They would put like ashes and other things in the food to dull the taste. Yeah.
James, can I ask you, do you think there's ever been a guy in purgatory and he just turns to the person next to him and he goes, at least it's not the DMV? No?
Yeah, most likely. Yeah. They'd be out of there a lot quicker in some cases.
I know, some cases. Yes, we are talking about gays in hell. James, for religious people, that's like peanut butter and jelly. Gays in hell? I mean, where else are you going to throw them? But yes, there are. Before we get into it,
the gay storage facility, basically, like it's like God's public storage facility for gay people. He calls it hell, long-term storage.
I hope there's like a YMCA parade going on in hell.
You would, wouldn't you?
See, hey, it's fun to be in hell.
NEWMAN. FUCUS.
Anyway, there are many ways to support the channel. You can send in super chats and we'll dance around and interact with them, and thank you so much for the support and super thanks on the uploads, as well as all the people who can get channel membership with our evolving badge system down below. And evolution, I want to do more topics. I know like half of our content has already been about evolution, but I am like re-energized since I said held my head up high. Yes, it has been a while, and it's just it isn't, I swear it is intuitive. I do not understand how simple things to complex makes less sense than complex to simple to complex.
They have to try really hard, and they do try really hard to not understand it.
Right? Because some of these people have been taught by the world's best in multiple different fields, like biology and evolutionary biology specifically, and ecology, and
there are different ways of teaching things, and certain ways don't. Everybody responds differently. You could take one class with one professor and you don't get it. And take another professor and actually you get it. It makes sense. You understand their way of teaching it, their their approach, their style, it just meshes with you. And he's a lot of these guys, they've worked with different all people from all over the fields, all the they run the gamut, and you've had it explained to you multiple different ways, broken down, made very simple and spoon-fed to you. And if you still don't get it, well, you probably don't want to, or in some cases you're just not intelligent enough to grasp
I was going to
concept.
add a third one on there. Yes, that could be the second one. I have a third one, or you could have a day job making sure that people are scientifically illiterate. Very specifically saying that dinosaur bones were planted by Satan, or in Kent Hovind's place, just trying to look at graphs that were made from children and being like, you're going to believe this? That was part of a science textbook? Yes, you need
they
like
showed 4 billion years ago single-cell organisms, and then look here, we have whales, and some of them, Amy, are male whales. They have genders, and the male whales, they have a sexual organ. It's called a penis. Did you know that, Amy? And so how do you get from a single-cell organism to 15-foot whale dicks? I don't understand.
Well, it's a very complicated Pornhub search, I'll tell you that much. Oh my goodness!
Are you a pervert? You trying to sexualize whales? Are you thinking about them in a sexual way, Amy? You may have some personal issues with that.
In a million years, I know. But see, he would say that after talking about a whale.
After spending hours and hours showing detailed pictures and slides of whale dicks. Yeah, he would try to. Like, how dare you think that I would have a fascination with that, a sexual fetish with animals? That's disgusting. Here I have my animal penis size chart where I have 37 different species ranked in average penis size, top to bottom.
And this proves creationism. I also... Once again, I'm going to use a fancy word, but then I'm going to say, we're going to break it to the simple word, which is, why are we morphologically similar to other apes? And indeed, to also kind of, monkeys as well, even though we're not monkeys, but we're close. What I'm trying to say is, why do we look so similar to them, bone structurally, as well as the vast majority of our other systems? Basically, there are just certain sectors of different sizes varying for our brain. But generally speaking, if you were to line up our bones, they would look so similar. Why does God seem to make weird copycats and yet chose us, James?
Well,
but wanted the copycats. And
thank you so much, Chris. Chris just popped in with some love. Thank you so much.
Send in so much love, Chris.
Glad to see you're still doing all right.
I know. He basically says, no need to give shout. I know him, so we love you so much. And sending so much love. What's up, What the Back? What's up, Captain Butt? What's up, everybody? Sending love to everyone out there.
UDEF, they would basically say, if we can't trust God when he says things about the age of the earth in the Bible and how he did things, why can we trust things like salvation?
I guess a slippery slope, James.
What they say a lot. This book is either all true or it's all false. If you could find one thing wrong with it, then you got to throw the whole thing out.
That's right. We have to have a 6,000-year-old. You know, the thing about the 6,000-year-old Earth is that it's still a fan fiction creation. There's still just a dude going, well, we're going to go here and here and here. We're just going to add it up. And you know what? I think that's about 6,000 years. Thank you, Bishop.
And there are slightly different interpretations of it. Certain people add the dates up a little bit differently, but generally they're pretty close.
And now they're stuck with it. They're stuck. You can't have any new science. It has to be 6 to my favorite apologetic. Excuse me. I don't believe in a young 6,000-year-old Earth. Okay, James? It was 10,000 years old. Excuse me.
Could be
Oh, I didn't know there was another 4,000 years. And I'll continue to use this example, and I know we have to eventually get to the meat and potatoes, but with a lot of silliness packed in between. But if you were promised $6,000 to $10,000, or I'm sorry, I have it already backwards. If you were promised, $4.5 billion. There we go. And someone said, all right, I knew we were going to give you $4.5 billion. But what we can is give you $6,000. And you're like, $6,000?
So it'd be like first trading bank accounts with Mark Cuban, and then you're trading bank accounts with Elon Musk. It's like, what?
Well, they're both billionaires. But it would be choosing either one of those bank accounts with choosing someone and like you or I.
Well, a lot of people would like for him not to be a billionaire, and they think he's going to lose most of his money. What I mean.
Who?
Elon.
Oh, well, it depends on what. He'll never make any money with Twitter. That is not and my favorite thing, and I'll continue. I even try and say X just because I think it's funny. He changed it. I think it's the worst branding decision I have ever seen in my life, because tweeting was this close to being in the dictionary. Like, our culture wanted Twitter.
Yeah.
And so you see how much every human pines up. My favorite thing is seeing X, formerly Twitter. They don't want to just say X. We all know what the X is by now. You all want to say Twitter because we want Twitter. He's not going to change it. Nonetheless.
That was a silly change.
But he has other things that maybe. I mean, the rocket thing, that's good right now because he's making money off the government. Government's a good teat to suck on. In the private sector, he has cars. So Tesla goes back and forth. Whether they'll continue to be the market leader or not, who knows? But I don't know. He both good and bad decisions. You know how I felt. You've said my opinion has waned on him. It continues to wane on him. I try and be as objective as I can, but we shall see. Nonetheless, forward. We are talking a continued topic, because this topic I will also continue to say. I'll say this. And I know there's always going to be someone who will. It's like a political, but it's not, because it's really just religious. I think the LGBTQ, for the most part, wants to be out of the limelight. We have gotten the vast majority of what we want. There's always going to be things to fight for. There's always going to be people that we're trying to gain access and awareness to. But for the most part, I think we're used by the reactionary side. And it's just because the goal is just not to not mainstream us. That is the thing. They can't kill us anymore. That's what the book says. The book very specifically. They're always like, well, James, shouldn't you be so happy? You could be in an insert country and they could be throwing you off the roof. And then I get my biggest golf clap I can out for them. That's right, good sir, madam. You are not throwing me off the roof. Thank you for that, I guess. And but that's
thank
what
you for not killing me.
Yes, thank you for not killing me. Your book does say that. I know it's in the part that you don't read out reference. At your. It is.
Thank you for not killing me.
Thank you for not killing me. And yet, that's what the book says. It says get a big old stone and throw it at me. And it's not just you, it's everyone around. We can make it a party. And, throw as many stones as it takes until I'm dead for being me. And I get that we don't do that culturally anymore because you can't. But what we have now replaced it with is, well, sure, we're not going to hit you with a stone. I don't want to get my hands dirty, both metaphorically and literally, but we got to make it unacceptable culturally, and we should be able to look down at you and pair you in when we're listing bad things, like you don't want to be gay or a liar or a stealer. James, can't we all agree you just don't want to sin?
They would like very much for them to all go back in the closet, and they don't really care what happens in your bedroom, as long as they don't have to look at it. But they don't want to see it in public or be reminded of it. They don't want to turn on the TV and see, oh my God, another gay couple in a show. Oh, they all have to be gay. They all have to have a gay couple.
James, that's for 2 places and 2 places only, all right? In their own bedroom and wherever I'm paying that gay hooker. My wife, of course, what she's doing, whatever she's doing, but
Chrome private tabs.
And all right, enough talking about gays. Let's talk about gays. Going to hell.
We good
fun times. But yes, I also and this is, I keep on saying we're gonna stop tangenting, but I don't know how to get rid of it without just seriously liberalizing, that is to say reforming or ignoring, and thus the religion comes to an end. It is fundamental unless you're going to ignore it. I mean, religion to me is a choose your own adventure story. And so if you want to ignore that part, you're going to. But it's just very hard to defeat this because we can get as many things as we want passed. I mean, it says it in their book, James. Did you know a book said a thing?
I did. We read your book.
Huh. And then you drowned everyone? Oh, you're the good guy of the story.
Sure did.
Right.
Sure did.
But it's okay, Jay. Do you know what makes it okay? He said he won't do it again.
Okay, I promise not to kill everyone else in the world again by drowning, specifically.
You beat me to the kicker. By drowning. He doesn't even say I won't kill everyone again.
Okay, I won't have another planet-wide genocide. Because he's keeping that in his back pocket. Oh, planet-wide genocide. Yep, it's still in the cards.
Yeah, but you don't want to do drowning twice because then you'd be a boring god. It's okay to be jealous and wrathful, but boring?
What if the plagues of Egypt was just the same plague over and over and over and over again? It'd say, oh, this is a one-trick pony. He can't do anything else.
Excuse me. What if it was just frogs?
That's it.
Just frogs.
After they get rid of all the frogs, and then Moses goes back to the Pharaoh, let my people go. He's like,
yeah?
Dude, we already killed all the fucking frogs. They're gone. Get the fuck out of here. Be lost.
Oh, well, guess what? More frogs.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Even in your coffee cup. Hopping out of your boyfriend's rectum.
You can't imagine the places that you will find frogs. And yes, kids, and this is what we read at church. La 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 la.
This is like the Budweiser frogs from the 90s.
Budweiser. Are we still allowed to talk about that company? Anyway, continuing. So we have many ways that we can sponsor the show, as well as our Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman. I'll send the thing out there, and we are sending love to our supporters. Boo-doo-boo-boo. and our channel members and everyone who is out there sending love to Rachel Holen. Thank you for reminding us we should not have slaves unless they're consenting. Generally, go to a bar for that and then bring them home. Don't go to the nations around you. Thank you so much, davegar. Thank you so much for reminding us the world is round and that it is indeed 4.5 billion years old. Dale Pastel.
Fake news.
Propaganda, fake news. There is actually a true fake news. Norm Macdonald, ladies and gentlemen, the original host of Weekend Update, sending love to Norm, who died. I would not say passed away. Because if I say passed away, then I'm giving it to George Court. But can I just tell you, James? I didn't even know he was sick. There we go. That's my best thing I could say to Norm. Because if you're a Norm fan, you'll understand. Sending love to all the Norm fans out there.
Yeah.
He would not like our show. But I love his act so much. Oh my goodness. He'd like the jibe of it. It just, sending love to Norm. Sending love to Dale Pastel. We're looking for empirical evidence. Because you just gotta have the chutzpah. That's really what it is, I would say, with the comedians.
Definitely.
To do a... What's up, Maya?
We all miss them. A lot of great comedians in the past few years.
To go on to SNL. To go on to SNL, the greatest thing is he got fired from SNL. And then they brought him back on as a host. And I'm pretty sure he did the opposite monologue, a completely different monologue of what they had approved on SNL. Basically roasted SNL. Though SNL's been great. I feel like they've been back. So go check them out. Not that they need our shout. They need our shout out. There's a small up and coming channel called SNL. I think everyone should take a look at it. Sending love to Dale and sending love to Chris. Sending love to Chris Disciple. We have a Skeptic Ranting community. Theists as well are welcome. Because to be a skeptic, all you have to do is challenge one's belief. Look for evidence. And sending so much love, Chris. Mwah. And Azo, sending loves to Azo. Sending love, of course, to all of them. Reminding us we have our Skeptic and Ranting community. Come one, come all, come as you are, just not on my sheets, please. My maid's got to keep on washing things. That femboy is tired enough. Good times. Anyway, sending so much love to Rejos, reminding us that, James, this has to come back. We need to get Skeptic Bible studying. There was just so much wisdom in there that I feel like, I feel like, at weddings, I often quote how many dukes there were in the Bible.
In Genesis, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very important. To this day, useful in a variety of different disciplines. I don't know what any of them are, but I'm sure they're out there.
How to sell your child into slavery after, right after you God frees you from slavery in Egypt. Well, the first thing you're going to want to do is, hey, we all have to, all families have these, kitchen table discussions, budgetings, and
that's right.
You cut back so far, and then you got to start looking at the kids like, okay, how much do you think we can get for John? Oh, how much do you think we can get for Emily? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. James, sometimes you got to cut corners. Sometimes you got to sell a kid into slavery. These are the types of modern biblical discussions we should be having.
Because a debt is inabsolvable. A debt is a debt. You got to pay it back no matter what, to the point of slavery.
And do you know what a Lannister always does, James? And because I know you have no context, so that's okay.
Yes,
Just say what
go
is
ahead.
A Lannister always pays their debts. I can't get any reaction from you, and yet it makes me so happy. Okay, it's okay.
It makes you happy.
It does. Oh, my goodness. A lot of people who like incest also just like that joke. Lannisters. They're a fun group. Anyway, Game of Thrones. Go check it out. Again, a small, up-and-coming... I don't know. We want to send shout-outs to the indies. Also, George, if you're watching this, I get it. I don't know if I should reprimand you because I'm a procrastinator, but, I guess it's taken me a long time to write a book, too. But I'm almost 50%, baby.
Hey,
I'm slowly crawling.
You'll get there.
I'm in a bank robbery scene right now. It's exciting.
They just fly out of there because they're angels.
See, here's the thing, and I'm almost baiting you. I'm waiting longer purposely. I'm sorry. I love this book. So, and I'm just gonna give the scene away. Okay. I got 3 characters. My main villain, who is this angel, who is infected with fungus. He has these forest powers, and yet he's infected with fungus. And there is his apprentice, this fire guy, and then there's the CEO that they have basically held hostage. And they are basically going to him and his apprentice, the main villain, are going to be opening up a junior savings account. And as they're opening up a junior savings account, they're going to use this CEO, who will be transformed by this fungus guy's powers and taken over. He's going to knock the security guard out and quasi-rob the bank. He'll tell, the main villain, be like, hey, do this and use the computer and blah, blah, blah. And secretly, the apprentice will be working there with his wristband device, because they have a communication device. And he'll be sending out the money that they're sending out to secondary accounts. That way, after this is all said and done, they can pull it to ATMs, and hopefully by the time they're catching up with it, the money is gone. But as he's doing this, my main villain is going to turn quasi in front of everyone. It's going to look like he's turning on this guy and say, you can't rob this bank anymore. And he's going to kill the CEO, and everyone's going to think that he just saved the bank from being robbed. Really, this is how he's going to fund a lot of his fantastic criminal things that are going to take place within the next half of the book and the other 2 books. It's also going to launch his campaign and all this other stuff. He's doing all sorts of crazy shit. Isaac is a wonderful villain. I'm looking forward to him. And but yeah, it's a bank robbery scene. Each scene, some of them are so iconic that I try and figure out what's going to be my twist on it. And so my twist is it's kind of a give and pull, because what you see on the surface isn't what's actually going on. Ooh, excuse me. I normally mute it, but there you go. Thank you.
Fast for you.
I could talk about my book for hours, though, so let's continue on. Last but not least, Ian Davenport, sending so much love. Reminding us that apologetic arguments are kind of crap. The best they have right now is using necessary and contingent and cosmological type of arguments that really they're just sophisticated ways of saying that we don't know how the world came to be. And if somewhere within that, they plug a god in. Most of the arguments don't even have a god, yet they try.
The cosmetological argument?
Yes,
God's
the
gonna do somebody's
cosmological arguments where they're very specifically
yeah.
putting on mascara and blush, and God is just going to town on that look.
Full diva.
Can you imagine just God walking down the runway? Boop, boop, boop. I'm God. For some reason, God has really big drag queen sized boobs in this. Ba, 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 ba. That's not
like
blasphemous. Is that blasphemous?
Like size triple F or G?
Yes. Very specifically. But the makeup's still flawless. All right? Just because your eyes are going other places doesn't mean she doesn't have the whole package. What are we talking about anymore? Anyway, God is flawless.
He's too sexy for his halo.
Too sexy for his halo. Too sexy for his halo. God turns around, sees a cute guy, and is like, I'll see you after the show. Too sexy for my halo.
Well, I mean, Jesus, when he was on the cross, he did say to the other guy, hey, I'll see you later on. We'll be in paradise tonight. So,
What if the thief was really cute? They didn't say what he looked
That's
like,
what I mean.
right? Maybe he
said, hey, I'll be with you tonight.
I'll be with you tonight. Just a few days in hell, and then I get to be with you in heaven forever. That sounds like it's worth it.
Don't worry, I've got really good knee pads. They'll never get sore.
I always ask them, like, was it like the lottery to be that demon who got to torture Satan? And they never answer this. There's always some sort of loophole. Like, Satan wasn't actually being tortured. I had someone say he was doing the torturing. So he was just pulling a shift in hell or something.
You mean Jesus?
Yes. Like, what was he doing in hell? Was he being tortured? Was he having his limbs, ripped apart? Or was it just uncomfortable? It was just like, oh my God, the sun's in my eye.
Sure. I don't think they really think he was being tortured.
So then was.
Some people say that he may have. It depends who. Yeah, they'll say he was preaching, and maybe the people who were in hell had a chance to get out if they wanted to go with him. But then some say no.
But what was going on? Is it like Vegas? We can't know. Or like, was there someone?
It's vague as usual. Exactly. I don't think most of them think he was being tortured, though.
Well, then, in that case, it wasn't really Jesus being in hell. It was him watching people in hell. In that case, he's a voyeur. Yeah. There's no good approach to this. I'm telling you. Yeah, hit him. I mean, I'm so sorry that's happening to you. I wish there was something I could do, but I'm not. But I can't because I'm not the son of a god, I guess. Anyway... Sending love to Ian Davenport. Sending love to everyone that sends us support. Our channels, our viewers, our Skeptic and Ranting community, our mods, everyone. But yeah. James, in a second, I'm going to hand it over to you, and then we'll get right into it. I'm going to play it on normal speed because there's just so much amazing. But it's also... I love the art in this just because of how specific it is. We talked about this, and we'll go into it once they're actually doing it. But it's just so funny how specific it is because of AI's ability to make these type of pictures. But okay, we'll talk about. I'm going to hand it over to you, James. We are Skeptic and Ranting on. She died and saw what happens to LGBTQ members in hell. Very spooky.
No. Yeah, this one actually just came up in my feed sometime maybe 4 or 5 days ago. Once in a while, something just comes up that's, how they know I would find this interesting. I guess the algorithm knows all, right? And it did. Yeah, Gregory. It's I mean, it's of course it's as absurd as it sounds, but we'll you guys all see that for yourselves in just a few minutes here. But Sunday morning, everyone's out of church. That's why we're on now, for all the Christians just getting out of church, wanting to get their weekly dose of Amy in. Well, she's here for that. I'll be going to work in about 2 hours. So. But we know it's been for a lot of people a somewhat stressful week, so we're hopefully going to alleviate a little bit of that, have a little bit of good, clean, atheist, secular fun, and yeah. It's 20 hours. Is that Johannesburg? What time is it over there? Is it like 8 hours behind us? Is it 8 o'clock there? It is just about to 8 p.m. there. Yeah, it is 1 o'clock, just about to be 1 o'clock here. Now that we got off this god awful, evil, horrible daylight savings time, we got back. They only give us 4 months out of the year, 5 months out of the year to be on regular time. So enjoy it while it lasts before they change it back. Used to be half the year, but that was too much. That was too much, apparently. The retirees wanted to be light out at 9:30, God damn it, and they get what they want. So Amy will be right back, and then we will start the video. It's a pretty short video. It's only maybe, I think it's under 10 minutes. It pretty much gets right to the point. Tells a pretty twisted, pretty evil sounding story, especially for people on our side. But I'd wager to think even a lot of Christians would find it tenuous, hard to believe. I mean, it's some of it might hit their doctrinal button as making sense, but yeah, that's the thing, is that there's so many these doctrines of all the different groups and denominations. They're all over the place on everything. So half the Christians could watch this and yeah, and have issues with it. Yeah, I know different countries. I know there are some countries in Europe that do it, daylight savings time. But to me, it's just like the ultimate appeasement for the retiree class, because they don't wake up in the morning. They don't care. You know, if you're getting up at 5, well, now you got to get up at 4 so they can have the sun out at 10 at night in the summer. Ridiculous. They don't care. They want to be light out. They get what they want. That group of people shows up and they vote, so the politicians cater to what they want. Florida here, they were trying to. Arizona has exempt itself from daylight savings time. Florida, they would want to just enact it year round here. That's all they talk about. Oh, year round. Because they'll come with, and they'll like this clock changing thing is stupid. Let's stop doing that. Like, yeah, let's just make daylight time year round. Like, whoa, not so fast. But yeah, the vibe from this video I got was I kissed a girl and I liked it, and Jesus was pissed. He's really mad about it. He's really upset. It's horrible. Yeah. It's horrible. I'm sure we'll be back I know Amy said she wants to do another evolution stream. She's ready to bounce back into that. She on the side, just because she's addicted to it, takes biology courses on evolution to learn a little bit more about the intricate details of it, the exact mechanics of it. Even though the concept is pretty straightforward, the exact mechanics of it can be a little complicated. And that helps when you're arguing with the creationists, because it's hard for them to attack the broad concepts of it, but what they try to do is they try to dive deep into the minutia, where they're talking entirely technical. It goes over everybody's head. And it sounds like they know what they're talking about because they use the language, they use the lingo, they seem to understand it, but it's hard to push back on that if you're not also an expert in the field, who would instantly pick up on what they say, like, no, that's not right, that's wrong, that's bullshit. But otherwise, if you're not an expert, it just sounds like they know what they're talking. It sounds good. Sounds like maybe they really have found something deep buried in the theory of evolution that makes the whole thing impossible. It doesn't work. All the biologists, they never noticed it, Amy. It never appeared to them. It never came to their attention. But we were just...
Really is irreducible complexity?
Yeah, we went through the theory and we found this part that just does not work. It's irreconcilable. It means the whole thing is wrong.
But I will also say for this video, as James was saying, a trigger warning that it gets, I guess, predictably dark towards the end, because that's kind of what religion does. And but yes, we're going to be doing upcoming evolution streams, because I agree with everything that James was talking about. The more that you learn about evolution, or the harder I think it gets to accept a non-answer, because that's really what the religious people do, is they attack evolution. It's not that they present a model like, this is how the giraffe is made. They say God made the giraffe. What's the blueprint? God. Okay, and how did they make the giraffe's legs? And slowly, fast. You're like, okay, that
spoke them
doesn't matter.
into existence. He spoke it into existence instantly.
But we also are going to be doing more fun streams. I want to do more going into Discord and getting us more people to come on board, and more open mics. And I am not taking a class this semester, even though I'm still teaching a class, but that still gives me more time. I want more time. I want more podcasting. Though taking Bio 102 was fantastic. It finally came to an end the other week. But let's get into it. What's that?
Yeah, debates with believers, he says, are useless. Well, I mean, I guess it does affect people who are sitting on the fence. Also, there was a time when I wasn't sitting on the fence when I was a believer, and I think slowly that they started to wear down your
well,
faith.
I'll give the stock answer, and then I'll add on a little bit of gravy. The stock, which would be that we're really supposed to be doing it not for the person in front of us, but for the audience that may be having the same represented views of that person. And so you're using that as a proxy to talk with people who you may not otherwise be able to have the chance to speak to. I would say what I add to that is, unfortunately, for better or worse, I sometimes am trying to convince that person. And so that sometimes, I hope, gives a more personal level. However, it would still be, at some end of the day, we're trying to produce, content to get a message out there to people that both agree and disagree with us.
There you go, Dave. We're at the 1 hour mark.
Listen. Sending so much love, davegar. Sending so much love to everyone out there. It feels good to be back and streaming, and let's get into the fun. We are skeptic and ranting on She Died and Saw What Happens to LGBTQ members in Hell. And let's get into it.
Very edgy.
Yes. Oh, it helps. Gizmo's gonna get mad at me. There we go. With that,
so
let's
guilty,
get
that look on her face, like I kissed a girl, and I'm going to hell because of it.
I mean, what's funny is from this picture, it's almost like I kissed the girl and now I'm dying. Basically, please get chemo in me. I caught the gay. You know what's once again, there's 2 terminal diseases that we're gonna have to go over, and that is both being gay and having cooties. Once again, you can get this from a variety of sources, but as you can see here, both terminal. Without further ado,
comes from a sister in Germany. In a powerful encounter, God revealed to her the fate of the LGBT community and shared his message for them. Please stay until the end to fully understand.
Message of hope and love and understanding.
I know. Please stay to the end when everyone has a happy ending.
Nothing has been added, and nothing has been taken away. Hello, my name is Annelies Friedrich. I was raised in a family where the fear of God was the foundation of everything we did. My parents were deeply devout and, from a young age, taught me the importance of living a life.
They're having a Bible study. Fantastic.
Life that honored God. Every morning began
with. That looks like the preacher with his family, like that Harry, and there's his wife and his kids, and they're just pretending that they're very interested and very engulfed in this wonderful Bible study.
Yes, food off to the side as it should be. This is Bible time.
Each evening ended with Bible study. The Bible wasn't just a book in our home. It was the guidebook for our lives. My father, a man of few words,
how do you get to the quickie mart? Leviticus? No, Deuteronomy. It says 3 miles through I-95. Thank you, Bible.
Would often remind me that the principles in Scripture were not suggestions but commands to be followed. God's word is the truth, he would say, and it must be the foundation of your life. As I entered high school, I was determined to hold on to the values my parents had instilled in me.
High school.
I was confident in my ability to stay true to the path I'd been shown, even though I knew the world had some
lesbians behind me, but I'm not going to be one of them.
Well, no, see, right now, in fact, she gets to be part. See, everyone's happy right now. Things are well, and I fit in because I'm, because God and stuff.
This nice AI graphic.
Make new friends, including a girl who seemed kind.
Oh my God! This is the most. I want you to know this is the most Disney Channel looking picture that this is ever going to make.
And easy to talk to. Our friendship started innocently, casual conversations between classes.
Oh, it was innocent at first, huh?
It was innocent, yes. Also, the amount. I want to also put out there that if you had ever had a wish that said, I want various AI generated images, an entire variety of happy lesbians, well, then you're about to.
Cornucopia. It's an AI extravaganza.
I just like how the next good 3 to 5 minutes it's almost going to be. I mean, not spoiler alert, but it's almost like an advertisement for why you should be a lesbian.
There you go, Gregor.
And then of course things get scary.
He's down with the whole cheer squad.
Woo!
As time went on, I began to feel drawn to her in a way I hadn't experienced before.
Oh my.
Initially, I brushed it off, thinking it was just a close bond between friends. But the more time we spent together, the more I realized these feelings.
I don't want to say that they are not trying to sell it here, but the AI definitely is.
Look at that. It's like, shh, I won't tell if you won't.
Like, that is basically a fairy garden. Exactly. Okay, it's just feelings.
Feelings were different. Uncomfortable with these emotions, I tried to push them away, knowing deep down they didn't align with what I'd been taught. I avoided her, made
But the
excuses,
Bible said no.
and convinced myself this was just a phase. Yet,
just a phase, but it wasn't.
despite
My
my
intense
efforts,
desires
I
to
kept
lick
crossing
her down
paths.
there. I
Also,
couldn't
I
get it
love-
off my mind.
I love this type of logic. We kept crossing paths.
At school
okay?
events, during group projects, and even in the hallways.
It was almost like we were at school together. Yeah,
Almost like they went to the same school. Yeah.
exactly. I thought that it couldn't just be a coincidence that I kept meeting her in the same class over and over. And then
Every
I
day
realized,
she'd be there. She would be
Yeah.
there.
And then I realized, oh no, she's just in my grade. Okay, cool.
It was as if something was drawing us together, no matter how hard I tried to resist.
Hey, your school's
Gradually,
calendar.
my conviction began to waver. The more we were around each other, the less I felt the need to resist. The feelings I had
hornier and
tried to
hornier I got.
started to feel normal, even justified. I convinced myself that caring
It
for
was
someone
almost like you were having emotions at high school. Okay, yes.
wasn't wrong, and I
It
began to
wasn't.
question the beliefs I'd been raised with. What started as friendship evolved into something more, and I found myself in a
It
place
evolved into fireflies? Oh, wait, no. We're back to, once again, what I can only assume is a magic garden.
I'd never imagined. Over time, our affection grew, and we expressed it in ways I knew were unnatural. We met in secret,
I never
satisfying
disagree.
desires in ways I couldn't have controlled.
Once again, I know that the Bible is against lesbians. I know this video, generally speaking, is against lesbians. The AI ain't. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It seems perfectly happy in everyone.
Conceived. Yet, by then, my sense of right and wrong had blurred, and I was caught in a situation that felt
Why?
inescapable. Whispers about us began
once.
circulating at
Oh, and here we go. I wanted to also wait till, when was the first negative, AI-generated image? And here we have it, the classic. Here we go, Mean Girls. I do want to compare this with our original. Everyone was very happy, but now everyone, even the girl, has her, because she's done something naughty.
No.
She's kissed the girl. I know exactly.
Yeah.
school. The respect I
How
once
dare
had
she.
for
We're still a
friends
firefly.
and the church community evaporated, replaced with
church
disapproval
community.
and judgment. At first,
So
the
bad.
judgment was silent, lingering
Well, so why? Are you in a Christian school? Are you in a mosque? What is going on here?
stares,
The
hushed
1950s.
conversations that stopped when I entered the room.
1950s?
But eventually, people confronted us, quoting
They
Bible
did?
verses, urging us to repent.
Yeah, we call those people assholes.
Each reminder of the teachings I had once held close only hardened my heart.
Yeah, what is this, a church school? I can't imagine people going around shouting
God is-
Bible verses at people.
I know. I feel like that'd just be kind of a dick move. I feel like they have other things to worry about and would just not care. I mean, there's always going to be mean people. There's always going to be people that pick on people. But you're going to have people quoting Bible verses? And if so, okay. Good luck with that.
"What is love," we said,
Dibble.
and he made us this way.
Dibble.
If these feelings were wrong, why would God allow them in our hearts? In our minds, we were standing up for love misunderstood by others, condemned by those who didn't see the bigger picture. On April 8,
That is true.
2022, we had just finished a lecture and were crossing the street.
Oh, now they're happy again.
Also, I want you to enjoy this happiness because, yes, I see those in the audience. It is an M. Night Shyamalan. There's a lot of not happiness coming. That's what religion likes. It doesn't want you to be James. A happy lesbian couple? I mean, come on. Come on.
They are living to make themselves happy, to glorify themselves, when we already went over actual only purpose for living. It's not your hopes, dreams, desires, and what you want. It's all about God. God,
Exactly.
God. That's the only reason you live, is to glorify him, to make him happy, to do what he wants you to do.
And once again, you can't be, well, most of them, even if they were suggestive, I mean, this really just suggests that they were going shopping and had pizza, like they're at New York,
Yeah.
Boston, or Philly. Like, what is, I mean, come on now. Like, all right.
laughing as if nothing in the world could touch us. Suddenly,
Keyword.
You sure I got?
there was no time to react.
And this image, this is the image I wanted to talk to James about. All right.
Yeah.
This is the image that could only have come about by either a lot of money and cocaine, or AI generated images. Because with AI generated images, you could just put in whatever you want. You could put in like girl about to get hit by car and girl like kind of close to getting hit by car.
Laughing,
laughing, having a great time.
To stop her cleavage from showing.
It's not taking over the world, but here is its fruits. Well, I should say yet. You know, da. Anyway, let's get back to it with James. They were such happy. We were in a magical fairy. We were lesbians in a magical, happy fairy garden. And now, I mean, all good things come to an end.
The impact was sudden and violent. Everything went black.
Yes.
The next thing I
Apparently.
knew, I was standing by the road, looking down at my body, twisted and lifeless. But what confused me was that I could see myself and my friend. I expected to see her soul,
There she is,
but there was
floating.
nothing. Panic set in.
Dun, dun,
A dark,
dun.
heavy veil
I
began
couldn't see my friend, and no
to close
spooky.
around me, pulling me somewhere I couldn't escape. The darkness thickened, and I found myself in a place that defied anything I had ever imagined.
Really?
Taco Bell?
But like dark is actually the absence of like light. So like if you could just close your eyes, you could actually imagine that. In fact, even these ghouls,
darker than that.
I know, darker than that.
Like the inside of a coffin on a moonless night.
And if I get all pedantic or logistical, like I know that it takes all the meaning and fun out of it, but whatever. Back to the horrible.
The air was foul, filled with a
Was it?
stench that burned my lungs.
Were you
I was
near
surrounded by
dumpster?
dark, twisted figures, filled with unimaginable rage. These were demons, their eyes seething with hatred. Without warning, they attacked.
Or you were in Philly next to like a stadium and they were just fans
I was gonna say.
sending love to my own hometown Philly.
You were saying the Philly stuff.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
My joke is I love Philly fans, and my Rachel has the complete opposite opinion. But I love Philly fans because my joke is we'll boo the people that we love. Anyway, back to something almost as scary. Let's get back to hell.
Ripping through flesh and bone. The agony was unending, beyond anything I could describe. I screamed for
was?
mercy, but my cries were drowned out by the agonizing wails of countless others around me.
I also like we're giving her a taste of hell. Just a sample. It's so.
This was a place of pure torment, where mercy did not exist,
It did.
and every moment felt like an eternity.
And
In the midst of my
why would a loving God? Well, I say a loving God, but why would a God have anything like this? And once again, James, what's the real thesis of what she has done so far? What is the crime she has committed for all of this pain and suffering?
She kissed a girl and she liked it.
Oh.
my suffering, a sudden force pulled me away. It was powerful yet gentle, wrapping around me like a shield. The demons were powerless
Grandma?
against it.
Oh.
Slowly, the darkness lifted, and I was enveloped in a bright light.
Mhm.
Then I saw him, Jesus Christ.
Hello, Jesus.
His presence filled the space with holiness, making the horrors of hell seem even more wretched. He did
And he was like, listen, less for JJ, more pay.
Didn't look like
Listen, I'm God. I'm not really supposed to be here, but
I know,
you know,
I'm not supposed to
I'm
be,
here.
know.
Yeah. I'm not really supposed to be down here. Don't tell the Father, who's also kind of me, but he's not kind of me. But just keep this between us.
Can I also ask,
Stop
is
licking
this
pussy.
I know that's what he basically came down. Like, he doesn't go into it, but that's basically what he has to come down here to do. And I want to know, is this the Jesus or a Jesus? Like, is
This
it
has gotta
the
be
Jesus coming down and telling, or is like he off and telling multiple lesbians right now not to have sex with each other? You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's because he did this because he wants her to go tell other people, to warn other lesbians. So
Gotta spread the good news. The good news is all the
Speaking
horrible
for
shit's
her.
going on.
yeah, exactly.
real. His eyes held a depth of love and sorrow that saw through every hidden part of my soul. Though
Or he
he
just
spoke
got hit
no
by a
words,
car.
his silence conveyed everything.
Your brain's going
In
a
his
little.
presence, I felt exposed, the weight of my actions
Oh,
pressing
now
down
you
on
feel
me.
exposed.
Tears filled my eyes as I fell to my knees, pleading for mercy.
Like,
Help
Jesus
me,
revealed
Daddy.
the truth
I
about
mean,
sexual
Jesus.
sin, not just as disobedience, but as violations of the sanctity.
Disobedience. Once again, you were just sent to hell because a dude hit you with a car in the midst of you, I don't know, buying a slice of pizza and getting a purse. And you're like, oh, here we go. Send these lesbians to hell.
God had intended for intimate relationships. I understood
Here we
that
go. Listen, only can have PP and VJJ relationship.
that's it.
Only acceptable one.
sex was a sacred act, meant only within a marriage blessed by God.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I believed to justify my actions felt hollow and meaningless.
Your feelings as a human being?
My choices had gone against the very order God created.
Mm.
Jesus then showed me the fate of those who reject his will
He's got a
and
shitty
continue
plan.
in sin. The torment I'd experienced was just a glimpse of the suffering awaiting those who
But
defy
why?
God's desire.
Why was he giving you
Jesus'
like an
warning was
appetizer?
clear. Those who live for their own desires, rather than God's will, have no place in heaven. They would be cast into the abyss, lost forever in the torment I had briefly endured.
Briefly, implying that you only got to taste it, so now you can get the happy times. But what about everyone else? I don't know how that question would ever be relevant, James. Let's find
As
out.
I knelt before Jesus, overwhelmed by the weight of my sins, his presence communicated everything. His deep sorrow for my choices and his desire for my salvation. Despite the gravity of my sins, I could feel his love and mercy, urging me to repent, to turn away from my old life and accept his sacrifice.
I like the happy music right now. We got the flame within a dark place, because apparently, is she in hell, out of hell?
She's in a church barn now, some kind of church barn looking place.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess she's now, so she's back in, a happy place within a church. But I guess he does have the ability to take people out of there.
He had died not just for humanity, but for me personally.
Me personally.
His death was the
Once
only way
again,
to
I
bridge
don't
the
know
gap
how
between
that's
my
ever going to
sinful
come up
nature
and be relevant.
and God's holiness. I knew then that my life could no longer be the same.
I can no longer
I accepted
kiss
Jesus
girls.
as my Lord and Savior,
Right then,
not as a
the car
fleeting
hit
emotion,
me.
but as a life-altering decision. I would no longer live for myself, but for him, no matter the cost.
Thank you, Sky Daddy.
When I awoke in a hospital bed,
all right, once again, just the sad escalating. Get your body ready.
my body ached from the accident's injuries, but the pain was
I've
nothing
been
compared to the
gay.
spiritual turmoil within me.
Yeah, I bet.
The accident was devastating,
What about the other girl?
but it was a turning point, a second chance at life. My friend had not survived, and the weight of...
So wait, let me get this straight. Not as straight as clearly
Not
your
that-
relationship, but you got a taste of what hell would be like. Now you can come back, get Jesus, and go to heaven. But she died being gay. So she doesn't get that that second chance. She actually gets to go to hell And that's a fair system? That's God's plan?
Well, I mean, yeah, they both deserve to go, but if he decides to extend mercy to one of them, I mean, the other one still only got what she deserved. So
I'm trying to think what kind of jokes to make. Like on some, who knows whether it was. No, I'm not gonna place. Let's continue
Death
onward.
pressed on my heart. Her soul had gone on, facing the consequences of her life, while I had been given another chance to live for the Lord.
Happy older women, cause I'm back with Jesus. I'm accepted. Don't you want to be part of us?
These women here, they will never kiss another. These are good women, godly women. They will never be in a lesbian relationship. They will never kiss another woman. They will never lick.
So can I point out something here? I continue to say that it's culturally acceptable, all right, to get a lesbian haircut when you are over, as you go from like 50 to 60 onward,
right.
You're allowed to have a lesbian haircut, as
doesn't
we
mean
have
you're
example here. Doesn't mean you're a lesbian. It means you're you're becoming an older woman. You could still be fantastically homosexual, homophobic with this haircut. Yes, we can still see lots of Karens. Once again, I didn't make these rules
because you're going through menopause.
Yes, and so I guess you're just like, I don't want to deal with long hair anymore. What guy am I trying to win over? I got this schmuck next to me that I've had beside me for the past 30 years, and so I'm going to cut my hair.
Get rid of him. He can't get rid of me, so fuck him. If he doesn't like short hair, too bad. Too fucking bad.
Too fucking bad. Once again, I didn't make these rules, and she's dead. So it ends in a happy story. Her friend is dead. She was a lesbian. She's in hell, but she's not in hell anymore. She gets to be happy. Look how happy she gets. James, all she has to do is suck that pee-pee.
And I mean, I think sometimes, how about like what my girlfriend is doing? I think like what she's doing is how she's being tortured at the moment. That really mean demon with the pitchfork. He's probably got it in her eyes, in her head right now. And I mean, I kind of feel bad about it, but I mean, at the same time, praise God. God is awesome. I love God. Jesus is
God
the
is
man.
love.
Yeah.
And once again, that teenage girl is burning forever and ever for, again, the crime of doing what, James?
I kissed the girl and she liked it.
And she liked it. Yep.
Yeah.
It seems like a crime.
She may have liked it, but Jesus did not.
No.
He did not like that.
Jesus came down there and literally tried to straighten her out. James, why do these jokes make themselves? I feel like they're trolling us sometimes. Like this
is like Scared Straight, the Jesus the Gay edition.
A little bit. Lots of great lesbian art, though. So thanks for that, I guess.
With Jesus changed me. The love and mercy.
If Jesus go through all the trouble of going down there and doing all that, why couldn't you just zap them so that they stop having these thoughts about being intimate with other women? Why can't you just
can I tell you what the loophole is?
You won't have those thoughts anymore.
And it makes no sense because it would just kick the can. You would say, well, you don't want to interrupt their free will. But that's what he's doing right here. He's interrupting their free will. Not interrupting their free will with her getting hit by a car and then her coming back and then her mourning the fact that she lost her lover and then hopefully after having a healthy way of dealing with grief, finding another partner. Whatever. Once again, here she is. She's found Jesus, and she's, I guess, heterosexual now somehow. And
what does that say on the background? Where stews you home?
Well, we see here. I'm gonna guess that AI is not gonna be great at that. As some people pointed out, they're not great at some things like hands. They're not great at. They're not good creating eyes. Creating eyes tends to be something that they lag behind. There are numerous things, but they're getting better. For better or for worse.
It doesn't say live, laugh, love. It's not all.
Does not say live, laugh, love. I forget which stand-up comedian said recently, just said, this is all you need. Once again, we need to go, remember, you just need to live. You need to going out and having a good time. You need to laugh. You need to be able to, have a good time. And remember, always remember to love. Just remember to love. And so to put your heart on your sleeve and remember that we can truly find where America's at any nearby JCPenney's. Once again, TM, whatever late night comedian actually just said that. I did not make that. Nonetheless, let's finish on out and have a good time. We've learned so much.
He showed me broke through the walls around my heart.
Here she is,
And in that
sharing,
moment,
being straight.
I surrendered my life to him.
Which is very odd, because can we just agree that, that is a way creepier forest than any of the forests she was in the happy lesbian ones?
Yeah,
all right.
I can't imagine very many fairies and gnomes living in that forest.
Feels like she's about to be stolen by the villain, but once again, I guess that's Jesus. Sure. Ooh, but yes, we have just watched She Died. And look, I'm going to continue to say and. That is look, I can barely spell as it is. She died and saw what happens to LGBTQ members in hell. It could have been she died and saw what happens in Saw. Dun dun dun. That would have also been that would have been very different AI generated images, but I guess not too far in some places of this fucking thing, but whatever. I think even sometimes, even Jigsaw would be like, God, really? You're going to drown the baby? What did the babies do? What's the lesson learned here?
You want to talk to the complaint department? Really? Really? Really?
Yeah. Oh, James, there's a complaint department. Oh, is there a complaint department?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But, yes. That was, once again, She Died and Saw What Happens to LGBTQ members in hell. We hear this a lot. I get this at a lot of the tag end of a lot of arguments. You'll find out in the end. You'll find out on your deathbed.
Oh, that's like the Ken Hovind, like, let's see on the news. Stephen Hawking died. Let's see, Stephen Hawking was an atheist. He didn't believe in God. I bet he believes in God now.
Yes. Which, once again, is just kind of wishing for people who disagreed with you to be burning forever. I really don't think that, and for good reason, why we don't understand forever.
I mean, as detestable of a human being as he is, I mean, if you had the chance, I can't imagine you would light Ken Hovind on fire. You might tell him he's a piece of shit, he's an idiot, but you wouldn't really want to light him on fire.
I would not want him to light himself on fire. I'd want him to speak in a debate, so he metaphorically lit himself on fire.
Right.
The best way. Speaking of lighting people on fire, should we open up for an open mic?
I have maybe a half an hour if you want, if you have time.
That's about how much I thought we were going to do anyway.
Half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. Yeah.
There we go. We'll do, because I have to grade, but I at least want to, as we start to get back in our mojo.
She's got to do the exact same things we're talking about in the video that are going to get her sent to hell.
Listen, all of these secular teachings, and I mean, I'm pretty sure that all I teach is gender reassignment surgery. I don't have a medical license, I have no expertise in those subjects, but pretty sure it's just 24/7 that. I think James teaches that too now.
What else would you teach? I mean, what else is there?
Yes, exactly. Nonetheless, if you disagree with anything we've said tonight, come join the panel at Bloom. And I'm going to put 30 minutes on the clock. Boom, boom, boom.
Well, there you go, Gregory. I can't fault you there, but yeah. At least you wouldn't want him to be suffering actively. Said he would unplug Ken Hoven from life support to charge his phone. That'd be a better use of the electricity. But.
Yes, indeed. Well, I would just like him getting out and getting a real job instead of trying to miseducate people and try to basically confuse.
But I don't have any. I've done this for 50 years. I don't have any other experience other than the jobs I had in prison.
Listen, if he went and started selling baskets and got, just became a basket weaver, he would add so much more to society, to Earth.
You just imagine that. Thank you for coming to Wendy's today. What can we make for you? This is Ken Hoven.
I give so much more credit to every fast food worker that actually has to serve people food than the slop that he has to actually serve.
I think he would last like a half an hour at a job like that before he would just, throw in the towel and say, "Oh, fuck this place. This is not for me.
I have to try so hard.
I'm gonna go back and start another cult. I don't care if it's real or not."
I'm trying so hard not to get political. So I'm gonna say this, then we're gonna change subjects. There's another person who I think would also work for about a week at a McDonald's, and that is about how long I would give him before they basically fired him for not stealing, because he would just be. But
the fries, they keep disappearing. The fries, they're gone.
He didn't know what a fryer was called. He said at a rally, he's like, and I had to make fries, and they came from the place, wherever the place the fries come from. All right, I am completely moving because I could rail on him, but I'm trying to be the complete opposite. They say don't talk about two things, politics or religion. Yet we, at this, have generally a simple rule, and let's talk about religion. All right, we're going to get Sinister in here. She's going to start us off, and then...
She's looking, by the way, extra sinister today. Extra devious.
Well, in that case, let's get to it and moo it. Feel free to tag us at any time to show your comment at James W. and at AB Newman. Nonetheless, we're going into our Skeptic and Ranting. What's up, Sinister? How are you today? What happens to LGBTQ members in hell?
I personally think I'm going to end up in the Celestial Kingdom.
Okay, so you're going to be with One Piece? No, that's a different Celestial Kingdom.
But that's only because having to be a harem member and some Mormon guy's harem popping out children for eternity does sound like hell to me.
Yeah.
But
do they get to wear the magical underwear in heaven?
It's true. If you get to wear magic underwear.
Why would you need the magic underwear in heaven? It's for protection or whatever. I forget.
This is magic.
But it's for protection. You shouldn't need protection in heaven.
You have God. Yeah, but what if you just think it looks cool? And you're like, come on, God.
You like the way it feels. Yeah, you get used to it after a while.
I never wore the temple garments, so I cannot speak to that.
Oh, well. Okay.
I do know people who... I have read stories of people who do that, and I'm like, why?
See, can I just tell you the great thing about it? And I know that they always whine. They're like, you misconstrue what it is. And we probably do misconstrue what it is. Nonetheless, there has to be a Mormon out there, maybe even a non-Mormon, that has a fetish for them. And that makes me happy. Makes me just a little bit.
They look up porn with people wearing them specifically.
Well, is this a corollary of Rule 34?
Yes, it is. It 100% is. All I'm saying, there could be at least 5 guys and a girl out there that are definitely into it. Anyway, how are you, Sinister? And
Tired, busy.
I can feel that. I feel the same way.
Can we wear garments to? Yes, you can wear garments to fetish party. I don't know why you would, but
Well, her device got reset, and so it's saying that she's down there. So technically, damn it!
still
See,
here.
the Mormons got to her. There, she's back.
I think it's having problems with the new. Might need a new cord. Honestly, I should probably replace my Blue Yeti since it went, but
I understand. Yeah, I have a Blue Yeti too. They're good, but anything that has moving parts, eventually, yeah. That's a cat.
well, my Blue Snowball was still active. But no, I don't really think that we're going to hell because hell doesn't exist unless you go to Michigan.
The census designated place, yeah.
That joke works because we can insert whatever.
Isn't that where they end up in Dogma?
Maybe. I love that movie, so now I'm trying to remember because that is their view on angels. I love the dialogue in there, and I feel like a bunch of my dialogue from my story is just they're such down to earth angels. All right, I'm done ranting about Dogma. What were you saying?
But religion tends to be more about control and these powerful urges. And someone's apparently in here. Geez, I'm tired because I have been doing way too much, including the data mining project and a lot of calculus. There was a kitty next to me. Oh, hi, kitty. Do you want to come up, Athena? What was I saying? I think it's just trying to control sexuality, one of the most powerful human urges, is just a natural thing for religion to try to do, because if you can make people feel guilty about something, you can give them cat treats. Or you can get them to give you cat treats. Isn't that right, Athena? Go on, Athena.
See, these are the people who truly run the world. Cats. Oh, she's down there. It's just reloading, but that's okay. While she's reloading, we are going to. Oh, we're gonna get her in, but Sinister, while you're reloading, we're gonna get Ember in.
What a week it's been.
I feel the same way. What's up, Ember? I hope you are doing fantastic. We are having a skeptic and ranting good time on She Died and Saw What Happens to LGBTQ members in Hell. How are you, and what are your thoughts?
It's been a week. Computer died. Apparently, too much LGBTQ. That's what happens. Yeah, so I'm testing my backup stuff. I've got you hooked up to my laptop, which is why I keep looking over this way, because that's where the laptop is. AI is what happens when you go to hell. AI is what causes you to die. And we saw in the video too much AI. That's what causes gayness, right? You see the AI lesbians, and you're like, oh, I need to be like that. That's me, except with fewer fingers.
I know. Yeah, they still have a little bit, few bugs to work out. But still, I'll take the magical fairy gardens over what was ever going on at the end of there.
You know, it's so wild. As we were discussing partly you guys and partly in chat at the beginning of this, that there's this idea that there's this omnipresent creator who's everywhere, except in hell. And also, you can't find him because he's outside the universe. He's outside time and space. So we're in a place where he isn't, and therefore in hell. Super. Which I guess is why we're all queer.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's why.
Hey, I'm going to say my favorite thing about being ace is I don't have to do anything to annoy God.
I mean, I think that's true for all of us. I mean, even the cis het straight people, etc. They're just being born. That's enough to deserve hell. How dare you be born in my pet universe?
Yeah, it's enough to basically be tortured forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Makes
That's right.
sense.
Yeah. Loving. Excellent plan, too.
How do I get a pet universe? I want one of those.
That just reminds me of Fallout when all the terrible corporations are standing around each other and they're like, ooh, I want one where like a monkey's in control. And I want one that has a robot in control. Like, that's Fallout. Good series. Everyone check it. And game. Go check out the whole series. But yes, throwing gay people into hell. What fun times.
The corporations in Fallout are mostly destroyed by the time of the game.
Yes,
and
or
the series.
At least some of them have remnants, but they're all like transformed into weird things. But yeah.
So, what are your plans? Where in Canada do you plan on ending up if things go south?
Well, the U.S. would already be the South then if we're in Canada. I'm leaning towards Toronto or possibly Ottawa, just because it'd be more convenient because my company has terminals in those cities, so I could just transfer.
Yeah, it's not going to be that easy. Fortunately, Trump's incompetence has not gotten any better.
I'm looking towards the middle of the ocean. I feel like if I just...
Iceland?
Sea studying, I think.
Sure. Just go out, and you just go out until you don't see anything. And the no. What are we talking about? Satan.
Who lives in Iceland, I guess.
I was going to say, let's talk happier topics.
Hey,
burning in hell forever.
No. He's the first atheist president, too, in my opinion. Makes it all the worst. Because he's selling Bibles, and they're made from China, and they think that is somehow a Christian thing to do.
And they have copies with a Constitution in them.
I know, because it's the Lee Greenwald style Bible. It has the Constitution. It has his Amazing Grace or whatever the fudge in the front of it, and it's about as blasphemous as I can actually think you can of making a Bible, because it's mixing government and politics. It is selling the Bible for really he's not a preacher, he's not a pastor, he is literally for just making money. When it's public capitalism. Domain. Yes. Well, and what I said, I still stand by it. It is crony capitalism, which I get. It is like there are honest businesses out there, but they're not spray painting shoes and the gold and then making it seem like that makes it worth more.
How dare you impugn the integrity of my spray painting shoes business?
Okay. We're gonna go Zen. They're throwing people into hell. Let's get back to more sane topics apparently than the US, which I think's on a different timeline. I don't think we're in the true timeline anymore. So
CERN broke it. They finally made that rip in the time-space fabric, and we fell through to the next level down, which is also kind of related to going to hell.
That's okay. The AR Singularity will figure out how to take us back. Yeah.
What's up, DeFreak?
Pretty sure that's not going to happen, but...
Well, I mean, AI... I'm trying to think of ways that AI can actually take over. Like, AI is such a weird thing because it is mostly a tool. Like, it's going to take over weird things like jobs. And
they took your jobs.
Took your jobs. Oh, I know. We're looking for all these immigrants, and it's going to be definitely AI. I had a robot deliver me it delivered someone else nachos and delivered, I forget what our appetizer was. It delivered us food at Denny's. Listen, if the robots are taking over for waitresses, let me tell you, they're coming for all your jobs.
Yep, they're warning us in trucking that there's going to be self-driving tractor trailers soon. I'm like, we can't even get self-driving taxis to work right. What do you mean?
We can be pretty sure that Lucifer isn't really opposed to LGBT people because his daughter is a lesbian.
Listen, is that from Lucifer? The show?
I mean,
Has been
Trying to
Hotel.
remember.
ah,
There we go. Okay. I knew it was
have not
something.
seen. But according to the mythology, Yahweh's son is a little fruity. You know, he liked to kiss Thomas on the mouth. He made out with Peter in the canonical version of the fan fiction.
He only hung out with guys, just these 12 guys, and never had a girlfriend, and get married. I don't know.
It's very peculiar.
Okay.
And the celibacy thing, that wasn't a thing at the time. People are like, oh yeah, he's setting an example for the priesthood. No, that didn't come about till centuries later, because Peter was talking about, or not Peter, Paul was talking about how the holiest people were like the eunuchs, the trans people of the era. And because they didn't have equipment, they didn't indulge in the pleasures of the flesh, which is entirely not true. But Paul didn't know that because, he hung out with Thecla and never hit that. What's wrong with this guy? So the priests are trying to emulate the eunuchs, but they're doing it exactly the wrong way. Instead of trying to be more feminine, as, all divine beings seek to do, they just tried to give up getting jiggy with it. And that's directly in contravention to the commands of their divine ruler, who said, be fruitful and multiply.
Yes, we know from biology Jesus had to be trans because parthenogenesis wouldn't work unless he had 2 X chromosomes.
Yeah, there has to be some sexy time. That's the other controversial. I say controversial because every time I bring it up, people are just like, bait. Oh my God, how could you say you're just trying to be edgy? I'm like, no, Jesus was most likely born from sex. I believe there was probably a guy like Jesus, if there just was born through doing hanky-panky. That's how it works.
Well, there is a Mormon belief fostered by Brigham Young about who impregnated Mary.
I was going to say Mary Poppins. No, that'd be a
No,
woman too.
no. Yahweh.
Yahweh. Oh, yeah, of course. You gotta listen.
Literally. Physically.
Moses talked about Yahweh's glory all the time.
Keep in mind that the Bible has no problem with incest.
Yes, I think they call it wincest in Exodus and Leviticus. I think. No? Okay.
Because we have that weird story with Lot's daughters.
Well, how does Adam and Eve and how does Noah? The only way that functions is through incest.
It's not just an exemption. It's the way things are done.
It's the feature.
Yeah.
It always goes back to the Lannisters. God damn it.
Yeah, but there had to be centuries of inbreeding after the flood of Noah to make that work.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I once ran the math just to see, it's like, if we had no population, no events that would change the growth rate from what we know it was, 0.04%, it would take 43,000 years to go from a population of 8 people to the population at the time of Christ.
I'm also pretty sure it's a population dead end. I try to stay. I know they love genetics. James was talking about how they always like to talk about it because it gets so technical. But I'm pretty sure that there'd be so much inbreeding at that point that, oh my God, let's just say it would be a good time. It'd be a good time for nobody.
Anyways, I was just doing the math. It was just the math. It's like. But
you're like, it was hillbilly, and then you take hillbilly, and it's exponential. Never mind. I love all my hillbilly ones.
Also, let's be honest. how many of us actually do want to end up in heaven with a bunch of evangelicals like Kent Hovind?
Oh, if it's like Kent Hovind, then none of them.
I mean, do you want to listen to Kent Hovind's dad jokes for all eternity?
See,
God, I don't think
that's
God would.
why you need the underwear, because there's people like Kent Hovind in the afterlife. And all those other pastors and preachers who, we've been averaging
Come on, Pat Robertson.
4.5 a day, getting arrested for doing naughty things to children.
Well, teachers actually have a higher rate of that.
Well,
It's just that teachers aren't telling everyone, aren't blaming other groups for it.
But he also had it happen on his park. And oh my God, the CIA took her again. That wasn't me. But yeah, and she's back.
He actually let the guy convicted of sex crimes house with.
That's what I was going to say.
Yes,
he
the
knew.
young boy.
And he let...
Guy who had been convicted of inappropriate contact with little boys is allowed to house with a boy. Go figure, huh?
It's very religious that way.
Well, if you have been telling a story that you're not guilty of what everyone believes you're guilty of, which I have no problem believing Kent Hovind tried to do something silly because he's a sovereign citizen and committed what? I forget how many acts of tax fraud.
Structuring, obstruction of the IRS, willfully
and
trying
my
to evade their
favorite
loans,
one, all right, still
willfully
to this day,
refusing to withhold FICA.
Because this isn't illegal, but he just goes on there and he goes, "Okay, did we buy our subscribers yet? Get on there, go buy some more subscribers." Because he doesn't understand that it's just.
Well, that's going to cost us like $4,000 to buy all those subscribers back.
It's hard out there, Ken, I know.
I wish I had recordings of Kent Hovind's biology classes.
Bold of you to assume he actually had biology classes.
He taught science for 15 years.
So he says, but he also says a few other things of questionable repute.
Like the
also
Professor
say it his
Otangelo. God did it. He said it in the Bible. That's all you need to know. If you have any more questions than that, you can go to hell.
And we shall, if the book proves true. And in fact, if the book is true the other way, like we were just discussing, hell may be the better place, the safer place, fewer predators, fewer Christian nationalists for sure, and all the fun people will be there.
All the really awesome people, exactly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, always assuming we're not already there.
Kent is a sovereign citizen.
Yes. Meaning he doesn't. It's a fancy way of saying he doesn't want to pay taxes.
Or obey any laws generally.
Except
the biblical ones, but not all of them. Yeah.
Yes.
That shit don't apply to me.
He still wants to go to Red Lobster, but and wear a poly blend, but gay's bad. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, he literally can't go a single discussion without bringing up something LGBT, totally non sequitur, just as a red herring.
Sending so much love, Maya. I know. Some days I feel convinced of that too, but there is goodness out there. Sending love to everybody out there.
With that book.
Oh, I know. And can I tell you, that is what sucks, James. Just to no end. That's all I get, is that the only reason that I care about religion at all is because I'm trans. It's the only reason. They go, it disagrees with your lifestyle, which once again, I don't view LGBTQ as a lifestyle. I continue to say a lifestyle is something you pick. You're into the biking lifestyle. And so if you are religious, that is a lifestyle choice. But you can't choose. This lady in this video didn't choose to be attracted to this other girl. Now, they probably should have. I didn't want to make the joke. I'm going to make the joke. They didn't choose. They probably should have chose to look both ways. Jesus Christ. I shouldn't have made that joke. God, but like,
Well, they
maybe,
were so engulfed in their
maybe,
passion for each other, Amy.
maybe
They forgot about everything.
Maybe it was the car's fault, okay? Maybe it wasn't like their safety. Maybe they did look both ways. Maybe it was the car. It was a Tesla car that didn't malfunction. Who knows? But
See, questions like that are why you're going to hell, Amy.
I know. I just imagine myself like Elmo, but like the arms up and then fire in the background. We've all seen that internet image.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to hell for a game I used to play when I was younger.
Dungeons and Dragons,
tagging.
you are going to hell for that. I'm sorry, what?
Called tagging.
Tagging?
StarCraft?
No, tagging. It's where you would try to sneakily steal the missionaries' name tags.
All right, I like this. See, that sounds like something I would have.
You replace them with like an alternate name tag that says like
No,
asshole.
You would always give them back. You just took them.
I will share, because since we're giving out things that help us go to whatever specific hell we are, but Rabbi's Dov, it's these sort of bows, and I'm going to put my headset down so I don't ruin my headset. But we used to sit there, we used to wait, and we just go as fast as we could. So good times.
There was a guy on the commuter train like 2 years ago I saw doing that. A full Orthodox Jew davening and standing up in a commuter train.
More power to them.
I'm not convinced that hell is anything more than a mental state. So honestly, if you want to tell me you're going to hell,
a bumper sticker.
If you want to like sit there and lecture me to go to hell, you might be trying to put me in a mental state of being in hell, that I'm going to exercise my right to walk away.
I want everyone to feel as good as when they're about to enter a Cinnabon, not when they're about to leave. But as TM, once again, another comedian. There's a whole act, I think, on that. Nonetheless, ladies, we have.
I don't think we have
a few
any
more
around here.
You don't have a Cinnabon? How about an airport? Do you have an airport? I feel like by law, there's somewhere it says there has to be a Cinnabon. Your arteries must be this plugged.
Well, we have a small mall, and we have the international.
See, once again, the CIA does not want her in here. She was about to release the secrets to an off-brand Cinnabon.
We have the international cornfield, which does not have a Cinnabon.
Cutting their connection off.
We have the international cornfield, where now it's a regional airport, so I'm not flying to the international cornfield anymore.
Cornfield. Can you get a Cinnabon there?
No.
It's worth a shot.
What about a corn dog?
I don't think the cafe that's in there has a corn dog.
Is there anything that's going to take my arteries and make them less so?
In the Midwest, yes.
Surely.
Gizmo.
Good. All right, I'm sold. Gizmo.
Gizmo will.
Try the barbecue places.
Ooh, I like barbecue. But okay, we are, as Gizmo is telling us, we are going to go in opposite order for outros, but we have been talking about She Died and saw what happens to LGBTQ members in hell. I'm pretty sure all three of us, James, we're going to throw you in for just supporting, LGBTQ. Thus, all four of us, we're all going to hell. So,
well, what Fred Phelps used to say is that even worse than the fags are the fag enablers. Those are the supporters. They're even worse than the gays. Yeah.
James,
I'm a fag.
We're going to be burning, and you're going to be burning that much more. Thank you for that. Thank you for your service.
Thanks, Fred.
With that. Wait, I wanted to hear it. He's
leading the way.
He's leading the way. In fact, we are all leading the way because we are going to our Skeptic and Ranting. Woo! sending so much love, Ember. We have been Skeptic and Ranting on She Died and Saw What Happens to LGBTQ members in Hell. I'm sure it was a happy, fun time. I hope you had a happy, fun time. And what are your final thoughts?
Oh, it was an adventure. I appreciate you doing the random Sunday show. Get us our church time as a community so we can
That's right.
come together and embrace our demonic nature.
Ramen.
Yeah.
Just to give people a preview of what they're in store for eternity, just to let them know what they got coming, right?
Hey,
That's right.
as a Linux user, I have hundreds of demons that are running throughout this house.
All right. Thank you so very much, Ember.
They used
And
to get
speaking of Linux users, say it, James.
How many people how many Christians you think freaked out like in the late 90s when they got an email from a email demon, a demon in my computer? I tried to send an email to this, got a message back from a mailer demon.
Well, I have no idea because the actual spelling of that is Daemon.
But looks like demon, damn it.
I'm also pretty sure, knowing like programmers, they didn't care what the Christians thought. They just thought it was funny to name things that way.
But speaking of programmers, Sinister, we have been Skeptic and Ranting on She Died and Saw What Happens to LGBTQ members in Hell. I hope you had a wonderful time. And what are your final thoughts?
So, no, we're not going to end up in hell just for being LGBT.
Woo-hoo.
I don't know why Christians, particularly the evangelicals, want to worship a God as petty as they are. I would think a God like the one of Christianity would not share my petty tendencies and would rise above them. Not to mention, you also have the problem with him being the creator God, so he made people that way, deliberately to put them in hell. Which, honestly, we could rehash the problem of evil here, which has an 01 runtime complexity, by the way. But we could just not really worry about it because this is just this guy railing against his indoctrination, which is kind of hard to break. And if you're in that situation, what you need to do is give yourself permission to look at outside sources and evaluate them, which is part of critical thinking. You may not come to the same conclusions the rest of us do, but at least you will have a more open mindset and be able to point out the flaws in other people's reasoning. Okay, so I am the Sinister Porpoise. When you think of Sinister Porpoises, think of the Sinister Porpoise. My regular channel isn't active right now, but if you want to go over to subscribe to me on the Mad Computer Scientist, you can do that. Ember has her own channels, which is better than Ember. You should subscribe to that as well.
Thank you.
Unless I'm mistaken, I think I'll be on Maya's show next Sunday. I'll have the whiteboard out and magnets.
Hell yeah.
So be excellent to each other, and so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Woo-hoo. Thank you so much, Sinister. That's right. You should check out Ember and Sinister's channels. Go
And Maya's.
subscribe.
And
And
subscribe.
Maya's. That's right. You should like and subscribe to the awesome Maya's channel. Woo. All right. With that, we're going to hand it to, James, but more importantly, we're handing it over to Gizmo.
That's
James,
who they really want to see. They really want to hear from Gizmo.
The internet is for cats.
But
and something else.
Yeah, wow, what a interesting little video. You never know what the algorithm is going to pop up in your feed, right? You never know what you got in store when you log on to YouTube, and every once in a while you get a gem like this. So, but it was really fun to go over it. I knew Amy would get a kick out of it. I know you guys would like it.
Oh, you muted.
Have a good rest of the day, everybody. Thank you for watching with us. We'll be back. We love you guys. Gizmo, love you guys.
Yes, he does. And all right. With that, y'all, I hope you all had a fun time on this episode of Skeptic and Ranting. She died and saw what happens to LGBTQ members in hell.
And your girlfriend's still there.
And her girlfriend, I know the girlfriend who, once again, James, just for the last time, she is burning in hell forever and ever and ever and ever for the crime of.
I kissed the girl and I liked it.
Now I'm burning in hell forever. Okay. Where we watched a video from the channel Endtime Visions. I'm going to pronounce it as it is because it still makes me laugh. He died and saw what happens. LGBTQ members in hell, near-death experience, NDE, for a gay old time in hell.
BSC.
I do want to thank my co-host James W. along with our panel, Sinister Purpose, woo-hoo, and Ember, woo-hoo. But also a thank you to all the people in chat, our awesome mods who make this stream so great, and lovely viewers like you who make this channel even possible. Please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe, because then you gain access to that bell icon. When hit all, you can see our premieres or join our live streams, or hey, why not leave a comment once the video's done? You can also see our Skeptic and Ranting Discord server, which can be found below, along with our amazing supporters like our channel members with our evolving badge system, evolution, forever triggers. There are some religious people that accept it. We call them sane. And okay. As well as our Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman. And along with I am Amy Newman, and along with James W., we will see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Oh,
Bye.
Actually, one more thing. If you want somewhere to go, because you were like, oh my God, I want more Skeptic content, the next thing that's on right now is Talk Heathen, a small little channel. Once again, we have to shout out to those indies out there. So go check out Talk Heathen. We all love you. We'll see you all in the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Good night.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Double shout out to Chris. We love you.